Hi, I'm Dr. Powers, and I am the head of the craniology department. Craniology? Don't you mean neurology? No, craniology. I specialize in being a human crane. Is that a narrow or wide stance crane? If it's the latter, it sounds like you got a little bit of hydraulic assist there. Cheater. The amount of disrespect I get in this place. Hello and welcome back to the Fox Strength and Performance YouTube channel. I am Taylor Fox, and today we're talking about 3 tips to improve your deadlift and become proficient in the deadlift, just like getting a professional degree, going through a certificate program. So I feel like I've really studied the deadlift for a long time and really helped myself to improve and train other athletes. And I've really made a lot of progress and found out some key factors. I actually started off deadlifting sumo. Yes, sumo. In powerlifting, just because for my levers, long legs, shorter torso, I could get a little bit more leverage with a wider stance to get the bar moving off the floor. Eventually, I would keep training my conventional deadlift. It would continue to progress, and they kind of became equal. So it's like I could pull sumo, could pull conventional, and then my conventional deadlift just took off and well surpassed what I could do sumo. So the big 3 factors that I see from the deadlift are going to be lat tightness and bracing, so engaging your lats, a leg drive off the floor, and then glute activation and being able to drive through at the top and lock out efficiently and cleanly, and having like that leverage after you've gotten through the first portion of the lift to still be able to establish quality hip extension at the top. So I don't think the latter 2 work if you don't have the lat tightness. So you have to have the lat tightness and engagement off the floor. Now, a big cue that I've heard is like squeezing your armpits. I've just become so accustomed to that from hook gripping. When I became proficient in hook gripping, I just got so used to taking that hook grip, turning those elbows, squeezing my lats, and having a ton of power off the floor and having those lats really engaged. If you don't have as much ability to like do that cleanly and efficiently, then you need to work on some different drills to engage the lat. So I've had people sit on a low row and just work on that first initial scapular retraction and squeezing the arms down to help engage those lats. Squat University does a band pull into a hinge, which we'll go over in part 2. With the assistance movements, you need to get those lats engaged. If it's a vertical row, those lats have to be firing and have to be engaged. They need to be strong. Tip number 2 is going to be getting solid, powerful leg drive off the floor. So no matter if you really sink your hips, if you're like a high hip puller, you still need to have those legs driving into the floor, establish that power. If it's all hinge off the floor, by the time you get to your knees, a little bit above your knees, a lot of times guys get even here, they can't finish the lift. So you think about like doing a pause deadlift, and we'll tie in tip 1, tight lats, and push those legs into the floor. You can even do just pauses right off the floor, or halting deadlifts where you just come up to your knees. You need to really work on engaging those legs, because you get that big pop off the floor and then you engage the hips. There was a powerlifter nicknamed the Ant. He was so patient off the floor, drive in, lift, but he would keep his hips in the perfect position because he had that drive. You'd even like start nodding his head as it got above his knees, like, yeah, I'm making this lift.
Today I'm going to talk about why a deadlift is a push instead of a pull. Okay? Just
be patient, get that pop off the floor, keep yourself in a good position so you can finish that lift strong. Tip number 3 is glute activation. Engaging those glutes, be able to lock out fully extended hips, straight legs, standing tall at the top. I know Andy Bolton in his book recommends kettlebell swings, really working on engaging those glutes. Not an exercise I've used a lot, but a glute bridge I've seen Joe Ken using, especially glute bridges with iso holds. Big Z uses a lot in his strongman training. We'll definitely get into some more assistance movements, but like I showed in the last example, it's those tight lats, big leg drive, and fire those hips through at the top. So if you have any hip mobility limitations, you feel like you can't engage the glutes properly, like that needs to be improved. Stretching the hip flexors, band mobs for the different parts of the joint capsule. Might have like some neuromuscular stuff, so I incorporate RPR with zone 1. We hit the glutes from the back of the head, just behind the jaw, just behind the ear. Seek somebody out in your area that's certified in that. I am, and I work with a lot of people, and I feel like it's very beneficial to overcome some of those compensation patterns and deficits. Those are our 3 tips, and we'll be moving on to part 2. In part 2, we'll be going over assistance/accessory movements to really touch on all 3 of these tips, these factors, and improve everything to really rocket your deadlift up. Until next time, keep pulling heavy weights off the floor and hold strong.